Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second session of the Oscars Fashion and Function. In this particular one, we'll talk about all of the newness, the overcomes, the first winners, the nominations, and also the winners. After a time of Oscars so white, now we're looking at what are the strides that are taking place. So thank you for joining us on Toy Talk as we look at the Oscars. We need to bring in a couple of other forms of media. After that, we'll get started into our show. Thank you very much for joining us, Toy Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from Facebook. Thank you for joining us on our second session of the Oscars. We're going to talk about the function, the wins, the losers, the nominees, and the probably bees. These are the individuals that we're still talking about a time in our days that we are doing first to win this, to win that. In a time where at one point, we're talking about Oscars so white, hashtag Oscars so white. So in a time of really social justice through many different mediums, we're going to use these next couple of moments to talk about Oscars progression. So thank you for joining us on Toy Talk. Give us few more minutes. We're going to bring in a couple of other media outsorts, and we will start our session. Thank you. Hello, this is Tasha Toy. This is Toy Talk, Oscars Fashion and Function Part 2. We will start in a few minutes. We are already on YouTube Live and also Facebook Live. So thank you for joining us, and we will get into it in a few minutes. Give me a moment.
Whew.
All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2. I forgot the one part. Hold on. Thought you was on my team. No, too late.
I'm working on my face. I was working on my face.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Toy Talk with Dr. Tasha Toy, a talk show with probative interviews about relationships, self-care, and so much more. No batteries included. It's time for Toy Talk. Here's Dr. Tasha Toy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Toy Talk. This is Dr. Tasha Toy, and we are happy to have you with us. Again, this is a continuation of a conversation we started last week about the Oscars. It was about fashion, but this week we're going to talk about function. A lot of people think that the Oscars is just about clothes and about the red carpet and jewels and those type of things. But over the years, it's become progressively more along the lines of social conscious, social justice. A few years ago there with Ali, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett had conversations about Oscars so white. And I think it was after the Ali, but there have been many conversations about not only the directors that are being nominated, but also the movies that are being nominated, the people who sit on the board, their leadership. So there has been a lot of pushback and a lot of call to arms of really reviewing what the Oscars stand for. And this year, not only in the fashion, we talked about that last time, feel free to take a look at it. Did we take a look at what the statements were made, but also the nominees this year? A lot of many different faces, a lot of suggestions. and a lot of nominees that were, I wouldn't say controversial, but not the traditional norm of the Oscars. As always, I would like to introduce to you my partner in crime, our co-host with the mostest, Dr. Karen Reed Hendon.
What's poppin', St. George?
St. George. And also into the pod world, we welcome you. We last week I shared that we had about between 45 and 60 people to join us on our podcast, and we appreciate you to join us. Feel free to we are on Facebook Live. We are on YouTube Live, and we also are posting this on Podbean. So if you feel that you would like to share this and you like some of the things that we're sharing, share with your friends, please. We appreciate it. Right, Karen?
That's right. That's right, because we live for you all's applause, because that's how we get paid, by your applause.
That's it.
And your likes and your hearts.
Please.
So thank you.
Please. Please. So without further ado, like I shared last time, we were talking about the Oscars and the fashion and all of the wonderful things. We spent most of our time talking about Billy Porter. Thank you, Billy Porter. But we also, this time, we're going to talk about the actual nominees. We're going to talk about the winners and some of the controversies around it. So Karen has been, she's an overachiever. That's why she's my friend, my friend, my business friends. And the reason why is because she has pulled up the nominees. But the one thing that, let's first look at all of the first that took place. I think it was, who was the first African-American to win production design? What is her name, Karen? Remind me.
Ruth Carter. Ruth Carter for Black Panther for costume design.
Costume design. First time ever has there been a African-American to win this award. And if you've seen her on stage, she was beautiful. She had this headpiece. It goes across her face, onto her ear, around her ears. It was gorgeous. And when she walked on the stage, you're like, yeah, I know why you won costume design. But that was a first. Also, I think
that was the first.
Also, orchestration of music for what I was going to say Wakanda, but it's actually Black Panther. My bad.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, I just want to say that Ruth Carter is a proud HBCU grad from Hampton University.
Hampton University used to be Hampton Institute.
That's right. So I know Hampton University is quite proud of Ruth.
And as an HBCU alum, woo to HBCU alums. We will stick together forever and ever. Yes. Wakanda forever.
Yes. So she's been in film for nearly 30 years. She's been nominated 3 times for an Academy Award for Best Costume Design. So she was nominated for Spike Lee's Malcolm X, Steven Spielberg's Amistad, and then, of course, Black Panther, for which she won.
And also in her acceptance speech, she did say thank you to Spike Lee because he gave her start.
Yes.
And he very nicely threw up his hand with his purple outfit on, like Prince.
Yes, which was his homage to Prince.
Yes. Ooh. So, yes, I did do my Prince. So thank you.
And just as an aside, she does have a retrospective traveling exhibition of her work. So it'll be actually traveling to museums worldwide beginning this year, called Dress Code: 35 Years of Ruth E. Carter's Afrocentric Movie Costumes.
What?
So if it shows up in your city, I encourage you to check it out. I encourage it. I
need that. I need that in my life. I need it. Yes. I need it. But yes. And so she's the first, the musical orchestration, for not Spike Lee, for that beautiful movie of Black Panther also won. But it did not win Best Movie.
No, it did not. Best Movie ended up going to
Green Book.
Yes, Green Book, which is controversial all on its own.
Yes.
Because there was just so much wrong with Green Book. So much. So, one, the fact that this was another white savior movie, which we did not need. Another being that the lead character of Don Shirley, Dr. Don Shirley, which was masterfully played by Mahershala Ali, who won.
But he won for supporting. He
won for supporting.
He was put into the supporting, and the driver was put into lead, right?
Yes, the driver was put into lead. So the driver was put into lead, even though the story itself is about Dr. Don Shirley. The family didn't even sign off on the movie.
Yes, I heard about that. But the driver's family was the one who signed off and drove the story.
Correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of controversy around that. And also the Shirley family reached out to Mr. Ali and shared with them their hurt. And also shared their disdain and just betrayal that he took part in the movie. But his response was very true. I'm an artist. I'm an actor. And I was asked to play this role. I did it to my best of my ability. And the politics and the work and the administration and all of those type of things that are on the other side of the camera is not my responsibility. That's not where I am. I'm on this side of the camera.
I'm on this side of the camera.
And I hope that my work that I did on this side of the camera speaks well and represents your family to the best of its ability. Not the words, but his image, his being, his person. And I think that it did. I mean, considering. And is it fair for example, one of the things you said for Miss Carter is that she was on Amistad. Do we have the expectation that she will go back and talk to all of those families from those who survived Amistad to say, here's the script. Is this to your liking? No. She did the best job that she could with what she was doing. And so why do we expect Mr. Ali to be a social justice person in that moment when he's doing his job?
That's a good question, but I don't think it was as much about that as it was as the family not having any say-so with the script being written or Dr. Shirley's life being put out there. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the movie probably should have been called, Driving a Black Man Through the South as a White Man, because they didn't even show the Green Book. The Green Book is an actual historical
book.
Yes, that was used by people of color in order to navigate through parts of the United States that
the Deep South
probably to this day still don't want us.
The Deep South, I'll say it. The Deep South.
Deep South, where if it begins to get nightfall, you're like, let me continue driving.
Right.
Let me not stop here. Because I don't know if I feel safe here.
The book says it's a no. The book says that town ABC does not have any accommodations for me. Let me move on to the next one.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Town XYZ does have a little chicken shack around the corner that allow me to lay my head down or get something to eat or get gas. So it's not just where do I feel comfortable. It is how do I survive on the highway.
Yes. How do I stay safe?
In the Jim Crow South.
In the Jim Crow South, yes. How do I stay safe?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get from point A to point B and still be here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and there will probably still be a lot of conversation around that well after, the Oscars. The Oscars are come and gone, but the controversy around that movie won't go away.
No, it's really, I mean, half of me is saying, it takes away from the work that Mr. Ali has done. He has really, when he takes on a character, it reminds me of a younger version of Denzel, where
Yes.
you see past that individual into their character. They assume the character through and through.
Yes.
That is a wonderful speech. I mean, a wonderful testament to his acting ability.
Absolutely.
I love that he gives hearts and love to his beautiful wife. And
Yes.
it's always great to see that type of love take place. But yeah, you're right. We're going to talk about this for time to come. But he did win for supporting, and they also won
Yes.
for best movie. But they were up against Wakanda, Black Panther,
Yeah.
and there is a
Black
meme.
Panther.
Yes, but Black Panther won for the Golden Globes,
Yes.
best movie, and usually.
Yes.
Usually it's all in sync of whoever wins for in the Golden Globes, they automatically win for, not automatically, but they're a stronger contender to win at the Oscars. Now, let's go
Yes.
back a little bit and let's look at Best Director. Now, Best
Okay.
Director had Spike Lee in it. First
Yep.
time.
Yep.
And can you read off those movies?
So the movies for Best Director were Roma by Alfonso Cuarón,
Mm-hmm.
Black Klansman, Spike Lee,
There you go. That's where it was.
Cold War by Pavel Pawlikowski.
Mhm.
Sorry. The Favorite by Yorgos Lanthimos, and
Mhm.
Vice by Adam McKay.
Okay.
And the winner was Roma.
Yes. Now it's Roma is a movie about class, but
Mhm.
it's in Mexico.
Yes, it's in Mexico. It also won for Best Foreign Language Film.
It sure did. And if you have a chance, go please take a look at Roma. It speaks. We often talk about undocumented, the poor in the United States, but we often are very centered on our world, and we don't look at Mexico. And Roma is in this case about her life in Mexico as a
Right.
domestic, and what does that
Right.
look like, and how does it function? So there, it's classness. The caste system was the original one, but the class system still continues, not only in the United States, but across the world. And her piece speaks to that.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and for that reason, I can say, I will say, I think it is a type of Roma director did win for Best Director against Spike Lee for Black Klansman. But if you look at the nominees this year throughout, there were some very diverse nominees. Like you had Black Klansman, you had was John David Washington nominated for anything? I can't remember.
No,
he wasn't.
I don't believe so. No.
But he was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Lead Actor. Actually, and his co-star was nominated for a supporting role, supporting actor in a motion picture. But you had Black Klansman, you had Roma, you had Green Book, you had also Black Panther in there.
Yep, you had Bohemian Rhapsody,
which is
the
Freddie
story of
Mercury.
Queen.
Freddie Mercury.
Oh
Oh my
story
goodness!
Of Queen.
Can I just tell you the whole? I have to have a pause moment. I did see Bohemian Rhapsody with the husband, and the one thing that made me laugh was because throughout the movie, the husband was saying, "They sang that. That's part of their song too. I didn't know he sang that. Yeah. Oh wow! I didn't know he sang that." If you have a moment, go and take a look at the movie one more time. Please get you some Queen.
Some Queen in your life.
Get you some Queen in your life. And the thing about it is, it's that movie, even though it's about a rock band, it's also about a gay immigrant who lives in London now. At that point, it was a step in it.
Yeah, Rami Malek, he really took Freddie Mercury to heart. I think he really embodied Freddie Mercury in that movie, down to his signature concert that he did in London.
Yes.
And just really, he was Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. He was.
He was.
And he
He
said,
absolutely was.
and he said when he put those teeth in and that overbite, he said, I put it on and that was it. I felt it. You know, I was
transformed.
And we all
transformed.
were. And
yeah.
But you know, there was some controversy with him too, because they thought that who should play Freddie Mercury? The guy who's did the opening part of the Oscars. He was American Idol. What is his name?
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about.
It's escaping me.
Me too. But they thought that he should play it, but he was like, nope. Rami Malek was supposed to win. Was supposed to play it, and he won Best Actor.
And he won, yeah.
He won Best Actor, and he also shared his struggle because he is Israeli in his background. So there was a lot of diversity across the spectrum, and it was a lot of people who stood in their truth on that stage. I think and I know it started with Regina Hall, who was the first winner for Best Supporting for If Beale Street Could Talk, which is a what? James Baldwin adaptation.
Which is incredible. It's an incredible nod to James Baldwin that he's getting the praise now, finally. And look at what he took. And just to kind of go back for Rami Malek, he's actually the first actor of Egyptian heritage to win the Academy Award.
Sorry, Israeli, but Egyptian. And so that's what, and he stood on the stage and said, "This is who I am." Yeah. And this is why I said, right. And so the thing is, he felt comfortable pointing towards his legacy and his family. A lot of people back in the golden age, as they call it, the golden age of Hollywood, would change their names. I mean,
we can look at the Sheen family for that.
Get out of my head, Karen, because I was just about to talk about them.
The whole Sheen family.
Except for Emilio.
Your name is Estevez, okay?
Emilio Estevez.
Your name is Estevez.
But Charlie Sheen was the first. And his name last name is Estevez. But then, so Martin had Charlie, and Charlie became Charlie Sheen. Then Emilio Estevez said, I'm Keaton Estevez. How about that? Right. And so it blew their mind that I don't understand how you could be his brother and you could be his son, and your last name Estevez. Did you just pick it out of a book? Nope, that's who I am.
Yeah. So it's Emilio Estevez.
Yep.
Ramon Estevez.
Yep.
Charlie Sheen, whose birth name is Carlos Irwin Estevez, and then there's a daughter, Renee Estevez.
Right. But Martin Sheen changed the name because in order for you to become employed, he's an older gentleman, that's what you had to do. Or that was not had to do, it was suggested heavily that you did those type of things. And so
and he had a sexy name.
I know.
Martin Sheen's original name, Ramon Gerardo Antonio Estevez.
Ooh.
Ramon.
Yes. What's his wife's name? I bet you what his wife's name?
Janet.
Well, hey, Janet Estevez.
Janet Templeton.
Estevez. I bet you put that Estevez in there.
Girl, Estevez. Keep that.
Janet Estevez. But it speaks to, it talks about this, it's where we are starting to evolve. It took us some time, but we are here. That we are very fortunate. Let's look at the positives. I know with the Golden Globe, one of the things that was really telling was they were like, I can't believe that Black Panther didn't win or is nominated for Best Movies. And that's the only thing. But during that time for me, I had to sit down and say, no other action Marvel DC Universe movie ever has been nominated for Best Movie.
True.
Ever.
Although pretty excited by the fact that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse actually won for animated feature film. So
right. Well, I was talking about live action. Sorry. Yeah. And but you're getting it. And that's an evolution too, because of how many people have taken their time to be part of the universe of Spider-Man and Batman. And I mean, Wonder Woman was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
It had a
Oh, yeah.
high grossing box office, but wasn't nominated for anything that year. So just for Black Panther to be nominated for a Golden Globe and then win, and then go on and be nominated for an Oscar, but did not win, but it's a nomination. It takes that first step. You can't get it all at once, but that was a nomination, and it was for everybody. And that's the whoop whoop of the moment, is that it's everyone. And I think that the nominees have done a good job of trying to really open their eyes. And this is by making sure that their board is reflective of their actors and of the artisans that are behind the camera. The board is now reflective, in voting public is very reflective. Right. Yeah. There's always more work to be done. Oscars. Yeah. You get a check mark. Yeah. You don't get a star yet, but you get a check mark. But there's lots of work to do. But this is a very good beginning. A very good beginning. Yeah. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen next year, because Wonder Woman 1981 is coming out. And that's a woman empowerment. It only took 70 years to get her on the on the screen, but hey, thank you, Gal Gadot. I'm not gonna touch that right now. I'm having a moment.
But look, we cannot talk about this year's Oscars without talking about Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Yes,
singing. They were having a moment. So they won for Best Song for Shallow.
Well, she did. But he sang it, but she was part of the writing team.
She won. So, which was incredible for her.
Yes.
But their performance, I was pretty much waiting on them to make out on stage.
Everybody was. But you know what? But 2 seconds, because we got to wrap up real quick. But one of the things that was very interesting was everybody's like, they need to go ahead and just become a couple, this, that, and the other. I'm like, and for me, I was like, you do understand he walked the red carpet with his mom on one side and his
girlfriend on the other,
who's the mother of his child, his daughter, on the other side. I think it speaks to Bradley Cooper being more than just a hangout dude. And that, and also him helping her become more than just, Bad Romance Lady Gaga. I think she's starting to come into her own and get her own feet. And just because she broke off with her engagement like a week before this does not mean that she was out for Bradley. I just think
say it.
I think she is. I have to say I'm happy that she broke it off, because you rather learn that it's not good during the engagement than to go through the paperwork. Mary J. Blige. Okay, so with that being said, these last 10, 15 minutes, I would, not minutes, but seconds, I would like to just seconds. I would just like to say thank you, everyone who's been listening. This has been Toy Talk, and remember, you always can listen to us on Toy Talk. It is a wonderful opportunity for you to know about what we're doing. This week we talked about the Oscars. We talked about fashion. Last week we also talked about fashion. This week we talked about FIRST and the social justice and equality that's taking place in the Oscar sphere. So next year we'll review it one more time to see has there been any movement. But we know without you and without our voice speaking to this truth, there will be no movement. So thank you very much. Always, Karen Reed Hendon, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
And without further ado, this has been Toy Talk. Remember, you can see us on Facebook, YouTube, and also email us at toytalk2, the letter U, @gmail.com. Without further ado, until next time, bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
I was pushing the wrong buttons. I was like, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. I don't want to be out in, because the thing is, while we're recording, we're still live on the air on the other line, and I don't want that. That's not good. That's kind of hard to explain. How was that?
That was good.
All right.
That was good.
Hold on. I got to get us from recording. And